How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad the DC Universe Geek, for those of you who may be new here, and today we're going to be having a little peekaroo at the MAFEX John Henry Irons Steel action figure, based on his appearance from the Reign of the Supermen comic book story arc that took place after the death of Superman. For starters, I always really love the box art for these MAFEX figures because they do a lot of work in designing something that looks really fantastic from a shelf point of view. And from all sides, these display really well. Out of the box, everything that you see here is what we got on the inside. Steel, 2 extra heads for a total of 3 heads, 5 pairs of hands, some flames that attach to the bottom of John Henry's boots, and John Henry's sledgehammer. And as far as this guy goes in hand, he feels great. He's a beefy, weighty figure for something of this scale. And he just feels so good in hand, and he's been sculpted really fantastically. Look at those metallic battle armor back muscles. All the details are exact as it would have been. These boots with the 2 open blue spaces right here and the blue spaces on the feet are exactly how you looked back in the day. You've got these here fuel lines that attach to these fuel canisters here. This is how he has rocket boots. You've got that S that is right there, part of the armor, riveted right to the chest. It looks fantastic. You got the shoulder pauldrons. They come out of the way, and you'll find when we do the articulation that they really do come out of the way nicely. You've got his rivet launcher. I really like this rivet launcher. It looks exactly like it's supposed to. This whole figure looks exactly like it's supposed to. Well, perhaps not quite the S on the cape. That is just a reused S, but I'm not complaining. This still looks fan-friggin-tastic. The cape is a nice material too. I really am digging the material they chose for this cape, and there is lots and lots of cape here. For context, just look at that. That's huge. The cape tucks in underneath the chest emblem, and you can see they've gone with these pieces right here to try to give the cape some sort of lift underneath here over top of the shoulders. And it works well with steel because the cape is supposed to be up and flowing. It's not really depicted usually as sticking right down around his neck. It's usually big and up and flowy. And this cape, being a wired cape on all sides, left, right, and bottom, is absolutely moldable. You can ball it up. You can be like, it's laundry day. Stick it in the hamper. Oh, look, it's a rose. Or you can open it up, and you could have him going into some sick flight poses with the cape all, mangled to one side. You want lots of shadows in it when you fold it so it catches them and looks fantastic. Originally, the hammer comes in 2 pieces. You just stick this bad boy together, and then you stick it in the circly hand that he has, and ta-da! That's it. That's how he holds the hammer. And although these look exactly the same, if you look at John Henry's feet, the holes are not the same size. There actually is a left and a right. You cannot fit the bigger one in the wrong foot, so they specifically want you to put these in their proper feet. And I think that these look great. Of course, we got 3 portraits. The one is the basic neutral portrait, which I tend to keep on the figures. It's basic, it's normal, and it looks fantastic. It looks perfect. And then, of course, we have an angry portrait, and then we have a much more angry portrait. For comparisons, well, first I brought in my custom MAFEX mulleted soups, as well as my cyborg Superman. I can't wait to get the Eradicator and Superboy, both from MAFEX, as part of this series too. And then here he is with the DC Superheroes Steel and the DC Universe Classics Eradicator with custom head, and the DC Universe Classics Connor Kent Superboy. And for articulation, what exactly does he have? Well, the head, as you know, will be on a ball peg, and the neck itself connects with a ball peg. So there's ample articulation there with the head sculpt. The torso is going to connect as well through a ball peg. It is kind of stiff. There isn't a lot of movement up in there, but there is some. Combine that with the waist though, and there is a fair amount of potential for flight posability. You have the arms, which are on those hinges right here, these really nicely done hinges with bicep swivels, double jointed elbows. That rivet launcher is going to get in the way. He obviously is going to get more in the way of articulation with this arm than he does with the one with the rivet launcher. And then you've got a rounded hinge up here in the wrist that spins and also does, you know, rounded hinge type stuff. Down here in the groin, you have two ball joints that have been attached there. Are they drop hinges? I think they're intended. Yes, they are. They're both drop hinges, which is really nice. I like drop hinges. He's also got double jointed knees, and you do have these hoses that are attached, but they don't really get in the way of the articulation one little bit. They're really nice and bendy, and they don't do a thing to get in the way of this articulation. And of course, we're going to have this articulation here because they put this right up inside of here like a socket. And we have ankle articulation by way of a rounded ball joint and toe articulation by way of a hinge. So what do I think of this MAFEX Reign of the Supermen John Henry Irons steel action figure? I think that he is the absolute best John Henry Irons action figure we've ever been given. Ever. So I love this guy. If you can still find him hanging about in an online toy shop, or possibly you go to your local comic shop and he's there, don't pass him up if you're a Superman fan, especially if you were a fan of the Reign of the Supermen, because this guy's sick. I mean, you have been watching the video, right? He's sick. Anyway, have yourself a super awesome DC day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.